They, in my opinion, purposely make it seem like, hey, you can't sell any of our products, period. And that's just not right. Hello everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth. Flipper, welcome. We're headed towards the Commonwealth cabin. This is the shed where all the work gets done, and I've got all of my typical stuff done today. Got a bunch of listings up on eBay. eBay slammed on the brakes today for me, unfortunately. I think I've had one sale. It's already 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But I've got a great topic again. I can't believe I gotta hash this out again, but I got another cease and desist letter, and I've been wanting to respond to a ton of comments on that video that we did with the first one. And now I've got the opportunity because I've got another one. Let's talk about it. For those of you who watched the last video, that one was about, what was the brand? New Era hats. It was on Bonanza. I got that letter and I talked about it and I tried to explore all options and all possibilities in that video. And I got a lot of reaction, most of which I expected, most of which people agreed with my analysis of it and my confusion over part of it as well, and think that it is an issue. There are some people who are resellers who I think had a really odd take on this thing, and I personally don't think they understand the ramifications of this kind of stuff. And I want to explore, I try to be fair. I try to be fair to everybody's comments. I try to be fair to the reality of the law. I try to understand things. There are a lot of things that are hidden on purpose by these platforms, and they give kind of reasons that I don't necessarily agree with, but there are reasons behind it. And here's a Swingman backpack. This is the kind of stuff I was talking about. There's one thing, if you think you might be selling, or somebody might think you might be selling something that's inauthentic, that is absolutely not what I was talking about. And that's not the language used in some of these things. And I think that is the issue here. Now, the New Era stuff that I have tons of New Era stuff listed. Tons of it. And things that I got from the same place. So I don't think that was the issue. However, it could be. I don't have any objections to companies protecting their trademark with folks selling things that aren't their brand using their trademark. That was not the issue. I got a lot of that. I think most people understood that from the video. This is Swingman, my Nike that's Griffey, right there. These sell surprisingly well, by the way. I couldn't believe it. I bought this at a sale for $1, and I bought it for Turner to see if he wanted it. He didn't want it, so I looked it up. Crazy, $50 for this one, plus shipping. So an item like that right there, I'll just repeat it one more time. I know I've already said it, but I think that if I was a brand if I was Nike and people are selling fakes, of course I want to protect my brand. And they should, and platforms should work with them to do that, and resellers have a responsibility to work with them as well. However, there are some times when you just simply don't know. And you do your due diligence and you put something out there. This is a separate issue, but I have a problem with the heavy punitive action, either taken by a reselling site or taken by the brand itself, and the threats that are used for a mom and pop who might sell 5,000 items a year, and folks come after them because of one item with ridiculous numbers like that. Some of these numbers you hear in these lawsuits are just like, what? This is crazy. So for sites, and we're going to talk about the other one I just got, for sites to really educate their sellers far more than they do is a big, big deal. Here's something I picked up. A lot of people won't sell this type of stuff. I know Carrie and my buddy American Arbitrage, you'd never pick this thing up. But Turner's coach the other day, this is a little side story. Let me tell you about this first. I walk free. You put your knee goes there and your foot goes out here, and it's keeping weight off your foot. So if you got a broken foot or something, right? And I saw this, and I saw the paperwork. It looked perfectly clean, like new condition or close to it. And it was the end of the day. They were like, anything you want, make an offer. They want to get it out of here. It's going to the thrift store or whatever. And I think they had $25 on it. And I'm like, I'll give you 15 for it. Brought it home, tried to find it, and there's different model numbers and whatever listed, I think for $80. So 15 into 80 plus shipping. So I guess it bears repeating one more time for the very small minority of folks out there. I'm not talking about that. I totally agree with that 100%. It's the folks that send you these messages, in this case cease and desist, and they don't even claim that. They're just like, you can't use our name and trademark for selling this stuff. Not, hey, this stuff isn't real, therefore our trademark doesn't apply to it, therefore you can't sell it. They, in my opinion, purposely make it seem like, hey, you can't sell any of our products, period. And that's just not right. And it's not lawful. And, you know, I've had discussions with folks before, and that's my issue. It's the abuse of trademark law. It's not necessarily that trademark law doesn't apply. If somebody were to take this logo and this name and all the stuff that's trademarked and to put it on some generic bag they bought from Walmart, that's a different story. Or if they're mass producing this stuff and using the trademark on the first sale, you know, for thousands of items, of course, I don't disagree. Tupperware, not a huge moneymaker, but I couldn't pass it up. You know, $1 into, I think I listed it for $10 plus shipping, and then a 5% off or so, $9.50 plus shipping. And so for the few people out there who didn't see that last video, it's this one right here. You can go check it out. I'm not going to repeat the whole thing, but I want to just give a little bit of context here before I get into this issue. None of this stuff got taken down off of eBay, which gives me a little hope that eBay is doing things with these companies behind the scenes. And if they don't feel it's a valid complaint, then they're not complying with it. I don't think that's the case over at Bonanza. I get these things, well, I don't get these things all the time. I've only got 2 ever, but I get stuff taken down all the time. I think that their model is so slim over there. It's like a skeleton model that they don't have the ability or the desire to deal with these kind of things. I don't know that that's true. I don't know that that's true on eBay side. I do not know. I'm not trying to make accusations here. I am trying to say this, though, and I'll say this throughout the video after I read this. It's really bad business. I've had so many people that this just didn't happen to me with New Era on Bonanza. It happened to a ton of people. People I know, people that sent me messages, and about half of them have said, forget it. Bonanza's not worth it. I'm not going to go through that trouble over there to deal with that. I don't get enough sales. That's bad. That's bad business. And if these companies realize they can do these kind of things through Bonanza, they'll do it over there. And then Bonanza loses a seller base, and, you know, they probably can't afford to lose much anything. Can y'all hear my wife out there taking care of that new puppy? Her production has gone way down around here since the puppy showed up, which is expected. This was a cool little piece. I got it for next to nothing. Just pulled it out of the bottom of a box at well, it was at the 100 mile sale. I saw Swede on the back, and I'm like, this thing weighs a ton. And I looked up comps, and there's ceramic ones out there that sell. And I didn't see any of these metal pewter probably ones. And I'm like, this looks old, it looks cool, I'm gonna buy it. And I did for like $1 or something. And I had to make up a comp for it because I didn't really know. I put 25 bucks on it, and it sold for $23.70, which means it went out on a 5% offer. So 1 into $24 plus shipping. She's talking to that dog up there. I'm gonna pull 2 more items because I think they both have some relevancy to this new cease and desist that I got. And it's the cross branding of stuff sometimes that makes it even more difficult for us. So I don't even need to get this whole thing out. I see it right on top because it sold quick. I probably undersold it, but I did it for condition reasons. Picked this up at a sale. It was 50 cents for hats in this box. And they were like 50% off everything. I'm like, holy moly. So I got this for $0.25. It's a Sports Specialties right there. I'm like, wow. I think that's where I got this. When I bought so many, I just was frantically picking them up. And it does have, you see, it's not perfect. It's got some issues on it. And there's a sold comp of one in better condition than mine for 100, and then some listed for up to 200 here. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to put it out there for 100. I think it'll sell quick. And boy, did it. Sold that day. Sports Specialties, if you can ever find it. Acrylic, 20% wool. So this is what I mean by cross-branded, right? You've got Sports Specialties, NBA. It's the Lakers hat. And it sold super-duper quick for $100 plus shipping. Next one I'm going to leave right here on the porch so it doesn't clog up my workspace in there. You saw me pick this one up on a Commonwealth picker video. That reminds me of something. I'll tell you in a second. And I paid up for this one. It's brand new in the box. And I figured, hey, it's got the box already. I got the numbers for it. I'll pay $100 for it. I think I can do okay on it. Sold for $250 plus shipping. So there should be a $100 profit in there. And it only was here for a couple of weeks. The other thing I was going to tell you about is the Commonwealth Picker channel. I got a rash of messages saying, hey, I have not got an update when you put out a video. I think a bee just came in here, or a fly, in like 3 weeks. So I don't know the answer to that, but if you want to go over there and check if you have those alerts checked, or you're subscribed, or maybe unsubscribe, resubscribe, and hit the alert. I don't know what to tell you. But we put out videos twice a week over there on the Picker channel, Wednesdays and Sundays usually. Every once in a while we'll throw in an extra, but we've been doing Wednesdays and Sundays for years now. My wife spotted me out there and made me come in and do 2 honeydews, check them off the list. So, you know, trash and all this stuff. So it's 20 minutes later, but I'm back and I didn't forget what I was talking about. So first of all, that was a bonanza sale. And if you watch the last video, we had a lot of bonanza sales. Like, no, it was a couple videos ago, I guess. But we had almost $1,000 week on bonanza. And both of these things now have happened on bonanza. Let me read this one to you. And this message came from bonanza. It says, item removed for copyright infringement. So the items in your booth associated with this brand, Florida State University, are protected by copyright trademark, and the owners prohibit these items from being sold without their permission. A cease and desist notification was received on, and they give the date, and Bonanza is legally bound to remove these items. We have removed the following items from Bonanza. If you wish to list this content again, we will need to receive a retraction from the complaint from the brand owner. Their contact information can be found at the bottom of this message. There's one little criticism I got that has some validity. It's like, why'd you do this video before you contacted them? So I suppose that may be valid. However, you know, I still think in the original notification, there should be more clarity. The last message had slightly different language than this one. And they were basically saying, no, you cannot use these trademarks to sell these items. And they took a bunch off. To me, if it is an authenticity claim, that gives it a whole new spectrum, but that's not the language these folks are using. This one is a little bit more innocuous, I think, than that one was, and somewhat less threatening, I guess. I don't know. I don't know that they're really threatening, but it would be really, really nice. This one has to do with a chalk line FSU Seminoles vintage. This thing's like 40-some years old. It's super 50 maybe. I'm not quite sure. It's old. It's 80s. I mean, early 80s is my guess. So at least 40 years old is what that item is. And when you're dealing with, you know, chalk line, so there's a couple possibilities here. Because I have tons of FSU stuff listed. Tons. And it's the only one that got taken down. Where I've got tons of New Era and a bunch got taken down. But none of it made sense because 2 were identical, bought from the same person. If it was a fake kind of issue, you'd think they'd both get taken down, not one. But, you know, I don't know. And that's part of this problem. There's not clarity on this. They make it sound like, and I think it's on purpose. I think it's on purpose for all the critics out there. They want to scare people from selling their stuff. They want to. It helps their bottom line. If it were the other way around, I would completely agree with the process. But clarity is a key. And I know this for a fact that eBay believes that to be the case. And I didn't accidentally say eBay, not Bonanza. I mean, eBay believes that to be the case. And there's actually some steps. A lot of times they'll take these items down, but now you can review them later. They just don't disappear and you can't even pull them up and stuff like they used to. I think eBay has taken some steps. I think there's more that's needed from these platforms because if this continues without the clarity, I think that people will be scared off. And then the brands have won. And when other brands see that the brand has won by scaring people off with no intention of, you know, fulfilling this stuff or going through on this stuff, then it gets whittled away and fewer and fewer and fewer things can be sold that you own, properly own, rightfully own. And the people that I don't understand, I'm going to pull a few more items before I get into the comments on the last video, are the resellers that agree that a company owns the trademark, therefore you can't mention that word in the title of something. A legitimate item that was sold with that trademark on it. That's crazy to me. Since we are already in controversial waters here, let's throw a little fuel on the fire. I sold a Dammit doll, 2020 for President Dammit doll. Made to look, of course, like Joe Biden. And so let's throw a little fuel on the fire today. And look at that. Look at the hairline. Can we at least agree that our presidential candidates have some sketchy hairlines? Can we at least agree on that? $23.70 plus shipping. So I guess I'll first address the folks that are somehow agreeing with the fact that you can't use the name of what that item is, even if it's legitimate, in the title of a listing, because you don't own that name. To me, that's utterly ridiculous. It would if that were true of every brand, we would absolutely have no way to resell online. Maybe I should say virtually no way. What am I supposed to do? List this glove? I mean, this is all trademarked, obviously. Rawlings. You know, what am I supposed to do here? Look at that, TM right there. The Gold Glove Company is trademarked. Trapeze is registered. You see that on there. What are we supposed to do? This is a brown glove. Here you go. And then the search makes it impossible, right? If you own this, it was sold with the trademark. Now, if some other company made gloves and put this stuff all over it, and it wasn't legitimate Rawlings, then there's a totally different issue. That's not what I'm arguing. But there are resellers that say, no, you can't unless it's used. That's wrong as well. After the first sale, you absolutely can. And most of these reselling sites know this, and they should protect us. And they will. They have to some degree already. But I think that if they don't, there are huge consequences. This one was, I think, a $10 buy. I might have paid $15. It's a good glove. I remember where I bought it, but I can't remember what I paid. $85.50 plus shipping. And then there were some folks who brought up the question. Some brought this up very respectfully, and it was a legitimate question. Some people were just kind of using it because they thought it was making their point. They're like, hey, you use, Commonwealth picker and you sell this stuff here. How would you feel if somebody else was out there selling your stuff? They bought it all from you and started selling all that stuff using Commonwealth picker in the title, using your name in the title. How would you feel? And I'll give you my response to that in just a second. I'm going to pull one more item. This is one of those dual branded things, dual trademark things. I pulled it out of here. I spared you the dig. I paid $2 for this Nike Liberty University hat. It's a dry fit hat, brand new, right there. That's sold for $23.70, but that's an example of a dual branded item. So if either one of those didn't have the authority to do it, right? This university gave the authority to Nike to make these, or vice versa. Nike gave, the hats, and then they added and sold. I think it went the other way around, but you get the point. If either one of those didn't have the correct authority for the first sale, then there's an issue, and that restricts the second and third and eighth sale down the road. It's a new item. It's never been worn before, right? There's no problem. It's been bought before, and there's the rub on some of this stuff. So $23.70 plus shipping. I paid $2. Not a bad little profit. So hopefully I can say this without sounding like an arrogant jerk. That's not my intent, but I'm just trying to make the point here. First of all, I don't have trademark and I'm not registered, all that stuff. So, but even if I was, this wouldn't not apply to what I'm going to say right here. It doesn't even matter what I think. It doesn't make a difference what I think about it. It's lawful, and that's the point. Everything that I've read, it is lawful. Now, let's say it was trademarked. Let's say I trademarked my logo and Commonwealth picker and did all that stuff that goes with it. If it was, and somebody wanted to produce that stuff to sell it, they would have to get permission from me to do it. There's no doubt about that. But if they buy it from me, if it's already done and I've made the first profit on it, it doesn't make a difference what I think. There's tons. Go look on eBay right now. I guess maybe it's videos like this that people don't like from me. They get mad at me and they're like, I'm not watching that guy anymore. I'm unsubbing from him. I'm going to sell this mug that I bought from him 3 years ago. That's fine. It's their product. If they didn't have that ability, then do they really own it? You're going to buy something from somebody and then what? You can only use it for yourself, and once you use it, you've got to destroy it? It makes no sense. It goes against everything, in my opinion, that we have in our foundation, private property rights, and all that stuff. There is a proper place for trademark, but it's not in the second, third sale of something that is properly registered. All that stuff was right from the get-go to be able to resell it. So I am going to contact Florida State University. Maybe they'll give me some clarity on it, right? If they say, hey, yeah, this thing was never authorized by Chalkline to make this. Or maybe they go even further and say, this isn't really Chalkline stuff. Chalkline had a permission to do this with us, but this isn't Chalkline. Then there's an issue. I'll happily take it down. This thing right here, talking about trademark, a lot of people use Disney in that description or in the comments below, like, didn't Disney do this? And my answer, maybe they did, but I'm not aware of it. What they did do was go after people. Let me get this. I'm going to break my neck if I don't concentrate. There, I got that guitar down, so now I can get this. When you're at a sale and you see all plush is $1 and you're like, all right, I'll get this. And then you're like, I don't know why I got this. And we'll squish it down. I did sell it for $29.95 plus shipping for that big Mickey. But what Mickey did, what Disney did, I believe, is they went after folks who were using their trademark stuff, their branded stuff, and putting it on their own merchandise, homemade stuff and stuff like that. That is a completely different issue than what I'm talking about here. But everything here almost has trademark on it. Almost all of it. Tupperware even, for goodness sake. I'm going to put Snoopy up here in its place. Which reminds me of something. Peanuts, and there's a lot of this early stuff. You come across a lot of early Snoopy stuff that's not branded by Peanuts because people could just make a generic dog and all that, and they don't use the trademark stuff. That's a little crooked, and you know, so there's a little funny issues with some of that stuff. So I believe that some of the folks who would make that, you know, you can't sell it new argument, which is an incorrect argument in my opinion, are really kind of confusing the idea of the first sale, which is, you know, you could buy something that's brand new, sell it as brand new, and there are some a little bit tougher issues in my opinion when I'm going through this stuff to figure out, but there's no reason you can't sell something brand new either. It's the first sale doctrine, meaning if you're producing it without the permission of that company, selling it. But if it's got all the correct permissions to begin with and they've made their contract and their deal, then everything else is off the table. Once it's sold with that trademark on that particular item. It's sold with that stuff. It should be absolutely fair game to be able to show the pictures. I had people even saying, hey, you shouldn't show the picture of the emblem in it. I'm like, really? This is nuts. I was surprised. It's a very low percentage, maybe 5% of the people who disagreed. But that's crazy. And I will say that there's some legitimacy, and I mentioned it on that video, of inauthenticity. They're saying these were fakes. I can just tell you right now, I'd rather have that. I'd rather have that and clarity and know than for companies being able to say, hey, you can't use our name in a title. You can't put something on a picture in there. And, you know, people are like, did you use the pictures that they made to sell it originally? The answer is no. That's a big no-no. You don't go take something off somebody's website that they may have paid somebody to create the picture. That's not the issue either. This one brings up another little side point as well. Here's a Nike tee, Nike Dry Fit, size large, long sleeve tee. It's a new item. Doesn't have tags on it, but it's a new item. And we were selling these for like 20 bucks plus shipping. Took an offer on this one for 17 plus shipping. That issue is, you know, how do a lot of us resellers end up with this stuff? And some people would make the argument, well, you got all that stuff, it was all stolen or whatever. That I think that happens from time to time, but I don't think that's the majority of this stuff out there. So, but this is a brand new, I bought a ton of these, right? Brand new. A lot of these companies have these outlet stores, of course. They overproduce things. There's no doubt about it. There's some things that the market collapses on. They think it's up here, it's not, it's down here. And they got to turn and burn on some of this stuff. And it filters out into these little outlets, outlet stores, different outlets that they have selling off bulk, auctions. There's all kinds of stuff. A lot of it ends up at the Goodwill, brand new. You've seen those things be dropped off before. And then to punish the people who have an outlet to sell this stuff online is ridiculous to me. It's bad for the company. It's bad business all around. And to come after these folks who might sell one thing here and there, to come after them and to stop them from selling that item is one thing. But to come after them with threatening lawsuits and stuff like that, that's just ridiculous. And for the record, of course, you know, that didn't happen. I'm not trying to slander FSU. Look, they might very well be trying to protect against something that might not be legitimate. That's fine. No problem whatsoever. That's not to say anything against New Era either. I'm not trying to cover my butt. I do find it funny, though, that some folks would mention, and some folks won't even mention the word of the name of the brand name or whatever, fear of law. I mean, you know, to give away private property and then to cede your First Amendment rights as well, your freedom of speech, is ridiculous. And I might even argue dangerous in the long run. And I'm not trying to, you know, make this the end of the world. This is two things that have happened on Bonanza, which is not eBay. But this stuff happens, y'all. It happens. And if it happens without any pushback or any clarity being demanded at all, then we might have issues down the road. It took me a while to dig these out right here, these MFG branded jeans. And these are good ones, y'all. These sold for $60 plus shipping. And there were two more points I wanted to comment on that folks made over there in that video. One was, you know, you need to start following the rules. And they're like, you know, you're going to ruin it. I'm like, golly, are you serious? There's a lot of just folding, in my opinion. And I don't want to encourage people to go out there and do things that are risky and get sued. And it's Commonwealth Picker told me to do that. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I will say that if you just roll over, and these companies, eBay, but whatever, these reselling companies, if they did the same, then we'd be in trouble over time, especially when times got really bad, which we have not seen yet. But that's low-hanging fruit. I had somebody comment on a video and they said, hey, I used to work for one of these companies, and let me tell you, they're obsessed with the reselling market. They know it hurts their bottom line, taking away from their primary sales. So it's a real thing. I'm not just making this stuff out of thin air. And I'll tell you what, there's another point that was made by somebody. They're like, thank you for talking about this. It happened to me. People don't realize it until it happens to them, until they have their PayPal account frozen, until they have their money in Amazon frozen or whatever it is. But I do agree with the point that, hey, you need to follow the rules of the site that you're on. I almost fell over when this one sold. It's been in the store for so long. Brooks Brothers. Just a regular polo, $15 plus shipping. And so that's a valid point. And it was Bonanza, right? So I made the statement that it's not going to be worth it for me to sell on Bonanza if I've got to go in and save all these things and then go through and check to make sure this isn't in here, this, and then post it over there. So I just kind of made that decision that I'd rather not sell over there. Now, I didn't stop selling over there. Have not done that yet. Also haven't listed any new era hats or anything like that. I haven't even done it on eBay, but I don't think I'm going to stop, to be honest with you. And, you know, if they take action, they take action. Just, now, if that was eBay, you know, I wouldn't do it, just to be frank. And, you know, I do agree that, you know, let's do a hypothetical here. Let's just say eBay makes a brand deal with Nike that says, hey, Nike can sell its stuff over here, but nobody else can sell Nike. Now, I think it would be colossally stupid for eBay to make that deal. But hypothetically, let's just say they made that deal. And they told sellers, hey, you can't sell Nike on here. First of all, a lot of sellers would be really pissed. But for us to sell on that site, we agree to their terms. It's their site. It's their rules. That's one thing. Totally, I don't agree with it, but I would totally comply with it. Same thing with Bonanza, right? Same dang thing. But that's not the issue here either. And I had somebody else say something about, what were they saying? It was Velcro. Velcro. They're like, you need to follow the rules. You know, you can't do Velcro. You know, that. Look, here's my opinion on Velcro. If it's a Velcro item, you should be able to use Velcro in the title. Now, what goes on is Velcro, they give their technology to certain companies to use Velcro, and then they have that right to use it, and we should have the right, if it's that product, officially branded and everything, trademarked in that item, we should be able to sell it. Now, the issue is that a lot of that stuff isn't technically Velcro. It's not made with their trademarks, their proprietary, you know, patent and all that stuff. So then you can't use it. And a huge majority of that stuff isn't officially Velcro. Got no problem with that either. It would be like if I was selling, you know, wholesaling a bunch of Kleenex tissue, right? And it wasn't actually Kleenex, it was just some off-brand tissue. I couldn't use Kleenex in the title because it wasn't Kleenex. I've got no problem with that either. You ever been in a yard sale and the deal is so amazing, you can tell the person wants to sell stuff off, and you even buy stuff that you didn't really want, but knew you'd make money on it anyways just to make the bigger deal better? That's what these gloves were. The sale was amazing. And he had these, and you could tell he wanted them gone. And I'm like, he's like, $5 a piece. I'm like, I'll give you 3. I'll take them all. And he said, sure. Because they're not worth a ton. $15 plus shipping on these gloves right here. Just saw the next sale was a viewer sale. So I look back because I'm like, did I miss any here? And there's a repeat buyer in here from Bradley for that Viking right there. And then I did see another viewer sale in this lot. So, and that is, it's Melissa's where it's going. I don't know your name. I know I met both of you down at the Webster. You guys were awesome. I'm not going to read your comment because this is already a controversial video. He bought the Biden doll. And so I'm not going to read this comment. Hopefully you can forgive me here. But they are from Vermont. I got your message as well the other day. So thank you. And we'll be getting back to you on that soon, I hope. But hopefully you enjoy the Biden doll or the president. I don't know, you can't even call it. Well, actually you could. There's even, you want to talk about protected speech. You know, political speech is protected at, you know, up here compared to normal speech, which I think is ridiculous too, but whatever. So anyway, but I'm not protecting your speech here. This is my platform. You got to follow my rules, and we typically don't get into that kind of stuff. So anyway, thank you though. You're very, very kind. It was nice to meet you. But the next one I can read, it's Herman. He just says, thanks, I love your channel. And we lotted up a bunch of PS2 games. I can't remember what they are. Normally I'd sell these things off in big lots over their live selling, which is the last point I want to make today. And I'll make it in just a second, but let me find this lot. I think was it an Xbox lot? Might be an Xbox lot. Do I have any other sports lots here? I think it was 15. We didn't offer like 12.30 for that batch. It's nothing amazing here at all. But Herman bought them. We appreciate you very much. And these guys are headed your way. All right, Turner says he's got a dog joke for us today. What do you got, bud?
What's a dog's favorite kind of pizza?
What's a dog's favorite kind of pizza? My guess is with these two, anything with pepperoni on it. What do you got?
A pepperoni pizza.
A pepperoni pizza. I bet you'd like pepperoni. Does that mean the pizza's made out of puppies? Or does that mean a pepperoni pizza for a puppy? Thank you, bud.
Bye.
All right, I see my kitties over here. Are you guys hiding from the dogs? Huh? Are you guys hiding from the dogs? I wouldn't blame you if you are. Where you going, No Name? You want to say hi? No? Go kill something. Reagan thinks that No Name weighs more than Wallen.
Just a little bit less. Oh, No Name, that hurts.
All right, what do you got?
Tracy and Tony got a Hillbilly sticker.
You got it, and look, we're down to, and then there were 3 left. We got to ship 2 off. Very, very cool. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Bye, and don't forget to get your sticker at CommonwealthPicker.com.
So I'm headed back out to the other cabin, get a little bit more work done, a few more listings up on eBay. And I wanted to address one more thing really, really quickly before I take Turner to practice. And that was, a lot of people were stressed out. They're like, I can't believe you're hiring somebody. You're not going to make enough money. I look at your eBay sales and there's just no way. Listen, I just want to clarify something here. Hopefully I don't strike people as somebody who makes rash decisions. I'm anything but that. This decision was made. First of all, she's not working 40 hours a week, for one. And I said full time, but just for some clarity, a lot of times she'll get here and her focus is completely on the live selling. The live selling right now, just the live selling, which we have ramped up. You guys should go check out some of these shows she's putting together. We're trying to up the quality of stuff over there and make it worthwhile, whether it's on Whatnot or Dibbit or wherever it is. That's already paying entirely what she's doing right there. So the eBay money has absolutely nothing to do with it. Plus Mercari and Bonanza and the static sales on different places, and even on Dibbit we're getting static sales and all that stuff. So none of that has anything to do with it. I promise you we're doing just fine, and Jess is really helping out a lot. You really should go check out some of these shows. We've got t-shirt shows that are going to come up, nothing but t-shirts, bunch of single stitch Harley stuff, and just some cool stuff, modern graphics and stuff like that, and toys and all kinds of stuff. So we're having a great time. No need to worry about us, I promise. And I just saw Poncho go into that shed, so I gotta go get him out. I guess I might start shipping in here instead of doing more eBay. What are you two doing in here? Are you leading that poor young puppy astray, or is he leading you astray? You better not go to the bathroom in here. Huh? You better not go. You want to tell everybody thanks for stopping by, and we can't wait to see you next time.